They're like, yo, why are you laughing at your coworker choking on a piece of chicken? People say, what's the best thing you learn in high school? How to get my way through situations, how to be friendly with everybody, and how to finish my way through situations. He starts kept counting this money, and then he stops, but it wasn't the full amount. It took away an hour because he went to eat. I was hip enough to like cut the bounce early, so it cut off. It cut off like a quarter of his song. And before he dipped, he started hearing the song. He's like, yo, send me the song. And every song I sent, like he listened to it right before. But this one was towards the end. He was walking out and he'll listen to half the song and he dipped.
Lucrative life conversation.
Once you get confident,
Lucrative life conversation.
I've heard people.
About anything.
I got two things.
Lucrative life conversation. No matter where you are in your journey. Lucrative life conversation. About anything, any subject.
What you mean by that? Yeah, like, what you mean by that?
Welcome back to the 2.5 LLCs podcast. My name is Dre. I am one of your hosts. If you want to follow me, you can follow me at RETRO__DRE on all platforms. And the podcast 212 LLCS POD on Instagram, TikTok, and on all streaming platforms. 2-1/2, like the fraction, LLCS space podcast. PODCAST on all platforms. And I'm here with our guest. State your name, sir.
Isaac Duque, also known as Extra Wavy.
Yes. And we're having a great episode for you all today. So let's get started.
How long were you until you started getting some bread or getting paid for a session or covering a session just on your own?
A year later. So during the height of the madness, that's when I brought in a client. It's like, hey, could use some people you want to run? I was like, all right.
Yeah.
And then from then, pretty much from there, that's how everything started. Me as an engineer, intern for 3 months the year before 2019 for school, graduated the next year, and then after that, it was rolling.
You went to school for audio engineering?
I did not.
Oh, what do you mean by school? Like you graduated 2019?
2020.
2020, high school?
No,
Oh,
college. Yeah.
How old are you?
26.
26. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. My senior. By a year, but it counts.
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
But that was pretty much a journey, man. As far as, well, I'll scale it back even more. I started out rapping in 2018. Like, started out rapping and podcasting. But along the journey, you want to figure out how to get better sound and how to have better quality. So you do your YouTube searches, your Googles and all that. And then you stumble upon you should get a Mac. Oh, you need Final Cut to edit. You need Logic to record or GarageBand. So it's like, all right. Because, GarageBand, you can only do but so much. So you got to get Logic, the big brother of the program, so you can actually edit it for real. So
That's what I started on too. Well, actually, I started on Pro Tools. And I was like, nah, this is not. I was like a, 14-year-old trying to make beats on Pro Tools, bro. I was like, no, this is not, this is not worth it. I stopped for a bit. I was playing the drums, so I was always involved in music. Then my dad, he got a MacBook, like 2012 MacBook Pro, and it came with GarageBand in it. I was like, oh, can I play around with it? And then I just started using it so often. He was like, yo, Isaac, I guess this is what you're using. You like it. I basically gave it to me without telling me. I just started using it so much, I just stayed with it for like the longest.
Word.
And then got onto Logic and just started cooking. Cooking, bro.
Man,
What led you to start?
I just need an outlet that I
Yeah.
didn't know I needed, because I didn't grow up wanting to be in music at all. I didn't grow up wanting to be a rapper. I didn't grow up wanting to do any of this. I grew up wanting to hoop.
Yeah.
Just to be honest, but I'm not going to say terrible like I always say, but I wasn't that great. But I tried really hard. One of those stories. Like, he tried so hard, but it just wasn't there. It's one of those. But, because, you can try, you can learn, but if you don't have the right tools and the right teachers, then you only go up to a certain point no matter how much work you put in. So it's one of those situations too. So it's just like, and then when I went to college after I graduated high school, kind of figuring out, all right, what I want to do job wise or career wise. Tried to go in the like pharmacy lane, hated it because I tried to take the second part of anatomy. It was too difficult. And I was like, yeah, I don't enjoy this enough to suffer through this anymore. So let's figure out something else. So I go on a journey of, all right, career searching, you know, taking the Myers-Briggs test and all those like personality assessments to figure out, hey, what do you like to do? What's more of you? Or how do you learn? That type of thing. So
did you always like that aspect of education? Like having to study, take notes, and
hated school.
No, yeah.
I hated school until I got to college. And I don't know if it was because of I had an idea of what I wanted to achieve, or I like the freedom that I had when I got there. Because, you know, up until high school, teachers just babying you the whole time. Yeah. So it's just like, all right, cool. You got to learn this. You got to do this. Hey, you can't leave to the bell says you can leave. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to go home. But you just grow, just want to have fun, or just want to do something else besides learning in school. Because to me, it was boring.
Yeah.
Not saying that I didn't apply myself. I didn't get good grades. I wasn't a bad kid or anything. I just didn't like. I never liked school. I always wanted to do something else. Either go outside, play basketball. That was it.
Now, same here. I like doing what I like to do. So like my best classes was always like choir, band, PE, lunch. It was top tier, bro. Like I was so good at lunch, they gave me 2 lunches. I loved it, bro. I used to skip Spanish class because I took Spanish 1 because I didn't want to take Spanish for Spanish speakers because it was just another English class. I'm like, why do I want another English class in Spanish? This is ridiculous. I'm trying to get out of here. And I just took regular Spanish and just showed up for the test because I was going to ace them easily. I just didn't do none of the work. It was good. It was cake. I enjoyed it. And I was always good at those things. And in band, I was always a band and choir because those are the things that led me to, I was like, by doing these things, this is the closest thing to doing what I want to do in life. And I was in football, playing soccer. That was my always number one, too. I was like, I want to be a professional soccer player. But I was always a fat boy growing up.
Same here.
So that was a dream more than a goal. You feel me? Like I felt like I tried hard. You feel me? I went to all my games. I was like top lead scorer in one season in middle school, which says a lot because only like 3 people scored once the whole season. Like we lost almost every game, like 8-0, 8-2. And I was like last line of defense, and I was like, you know what? I got to try. We keep on losing. We're not going to lose anything. I scored a goal. You feel me? So like those little things hyped me up, but it wasn't realistic. You feel me? So once I started, it got in high school and then started to see the things that I like and the things that would lead me to what I want to do, I just focused my energy on that. And then in class, I just took advantage of being able to be friendly and finesse my way around assignments and teachers because that helped me a lot in my career today. You know, people say, what's the best thing you learn in high school? How to get my way through situations, how to be friendly with everybody, and how to finesse my way through situations. You feel me? Like I had a teacher once that in high school I did, my junior year, I did like 6 months in a school in Reno, Nevada. And I just did not care. This was like my second time taking Algebra 2. I just didn't do the work. Like I was one of the kids, I'd try the test once in a while. I just did not care. I put all my energy towards everything. I was like, I need the bare minimum to pass. And this guy towards the end, I was always friendly with him. We're always talking. Sometimes I'll just sleep through his entire class. Like I just didn't care. Towards the end, he would like felt we had a good enough banter and communication we did throughout the years, even though I like totally blanked out on his name. Like I never purposely remembered his name through that conversation. He was like, yo, you know what? Next year, apply yourself better. I'll give you a 62%. And I got so excited because that gave me my credit. I was like, that's all I need. Thank you, sir. I'm not coming back because this is my last high school credit, my last math credit. I don't need anything beyond this. Because I was like, at that time, when I did that, I had already interned here at AMI with Mike for like at least 6 months. At least back in like 2016.
Oh, damn. He was here early.
Yeah. This was like my first real internship. everything else, I've been to studio sessions because my mom's a vocal coach. So I got in the first studios I've been to just sitting next to the engineer, seeing the buttons he pressed while my mom was warming up the singers. I was like, yo, I like all this control that this guy has. And no one's ever going to know his name because they're just listening to the lady sing. But anything that comes out is because of him. And I was like, I like that. And since then, I think that was like late elementary school, early middle school. I was like, that's what I'm trying to do. So anything I did in school was towards that. Anything that wasn't towards that, I did not care. Like I was like, and my parents, they got a little bit, not that they didn't care towards the end, but it didn't bother them as well just because of how devoted I was to those other things and how seriously I was taking that like, of course they wanted me to get good grades, but as long as I passed, it is what it is. And thank God it worked out like that. You feel me? Like I'm kind of doing exactly what I wanted to do in life, but now that I'm here, it's all right. You feel me? Like It was so much funner trying to get there. It really was. Like I work at a radio station. I was legit. I was like, yo, imagine working at the radio, doing whatever at the radio. And it's like a whole type of different thing that I would have ever imagined. It's classical music to start off. I mean, so it's already naturally slow paced. And then everybody that works there, and then the way things are organized is just not what I had imagined. You feel me? But I got there, thank God. But now I'm trying to do like a lot more. If I stick at this spot forever, it's not fulfilling.
Yeah, because in this industry, I believe you have to move around just to experience different things. Like staying in one place is cool, but if it doesn't have all you need and all you want to be around, then you have to go at some point, or else you're gonna just get stuck there.
And for me, that's what got me excited in the first place. Believe it or not, having a stagnant job, because before that, I was used to working like in 4 or 5 different spots. I mean, I'll be a stagehand at this venue, a stagehand at another venue, and then I'll be interning at this one studio, and then running a session at that other studio. Then making beats here and there. Like I was always looking. Like I had no idea I was gonna do like 2 days from now for work. I would just be looking for it, but I enjoyed it. That was a grind. But once I got this and seeing how like steady it was, how it's beyond where I was at that moment, I was like, yo, I gotta take advantage of this. But now that I've been there like 2 years, it's like, yo, how I felt before was kind of right. Like I anticipated this is gonna be draining, doing the same thing with the same people at the same place, dealing with the same situations. So I'm rethinking that whole situation currently. Yeah. How have you felt here in your time here?
Everything's been good, man. One thing, because if I'm not here, I'm not where I am today. So I'm always thankful for that no matter what.
Course.
But I have to work on how to obtain my own people, how to learn how to obtain people. Obviously, I've heard and known the ways. Now I have to apply. I've learned how to apply. Now I got to figure out, all right, where are the people I got to attract? Where's the audience I'm trying to attract? And if I know where they are they already recording somewhere already? Or are they already working with people? And if that's the case, then how do I put myself in a position to say, hey, try where I'm at out because such and such I can do this. So trying to figure out the actual marketing and promotion of how to run your own for yourself while you're working under another, well, not under, but with another. That's something I have to learn how to do just in general because you grew up, like you said, talking to people.
Yeah.
I grew up being the quiet kid in the class. So this is a skill I have to learn personally, not even just in business. I personally have to just get better. It's not like I can't because I know I can because I have done it. It's just now I have to apply it in the industry I'm foreign in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't grow up around it or in it. I always listen to music, of course, but now I'm in the business and the industry of it. So now I have to learn and work my ways around that a way I'm able to do it. I may be uncomfortable, but I still got to figure out. That's what I've been struggling with. It's like, all right, how do I do this my way? So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
And do you feel like this has been a nurturing place for that?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really helpful. It really is, because a lot of times people have goals and dreams and desires, but their surrounding suppresses the potential growth. You feel me? The people they're around or the situation they're around. And I'm glad this is still a spot that allows people to grow. You feel me? Like that. Like when you started, did you have any prior experience to this?
No. Like I learned everything I know from here.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like as I tried, obviously beforehand, but I knew in order for me to get to that next level, I had to get in a professional environment. And just looking up on Google one day, I found AMI Studios, and I was actually walked in one day while a session was going on, while Key was doing a session. Shout out to her. She said, "Come back tomorrow." I came back like an hour or so later. And then she was like, "All right, sit down." She'll call up Mike and called him up. I had my stuff with me I needed for my internship, because at the school we needed internships to graduate. I just decided doing it at a recording studio because I know that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So
They allowed it, I assume?
yeah.
Cool.
So after it got cleared, started from there, ain't looked back since.
What was the first, like, most memorable experience starting off as an intern?
I remember the first day. Not all the way, but I remember the first day. I helped out on the podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Mike wasn't here, but his brother was here. Kid was here, Dave was here, shout out to Dave. And they had 2 St. Louis on. And I was just sitting there and just trying to figure out my way. And pretty much everything was cool, man.
Yeah.
But you know, like everybody like have fun and joke with you and stuff about, because like I said, every time it's like a running joke around here. Like every time I walk in the room, you cannot hear me. So I just appear, and it's just like, oh yeah, he's there. Because like I would scare people sometimes, like with the silence I moved in. Then I come in the studio, move around. So
That's super fun. My grandma used to do that to us. Every time I used to stay at my cousin's house in Palm Beach, we were 2 little fat boys. So we used to go to the kitchen like at 3 o'clock in the morning. But my grandma's room was right next to the kitchen. So you'll just see 2 like 10, 12-year-olds just eating, destroying the kitchen. The only light on was of the fridge light. The second we closed it and turned around, my grandma would just be there just staring at us. And we'd be like shitting bricks. But she just laughed so hard and enjoyed it so much. And it's become like a subliminal thing that like I do on accident to people that I've became to enjoy quite a bit. Like at work all the time. Like at work, everyone has like offices at the venue that I work at, and people have their office door open, so sometimes you can call them or send them an email if you want to contact them. But I like going to their office. But I'll just go to their like door hall and just see them on the computer and just stand there until they turned around. But like I wouldn't like knock or anything. They'll just turn around and just get like scared. Isaac. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I need help with this. But I'm glad they haven't gotten too mad where they made a problem out of it. But they seem to enjoy it as well. It's just random bursts of fear throughout the day. Yeah. But it's fun.
okay, I need you to help me with this message board out.
Dang, bro. Wow, that's what's up, man. And since you've started, have you had, like, of course you've worked with like quite a few people, quite a few mics people. When was the first time you brought in your own client?
First day? Like first time, like
That
first,
you brought in your own client?
Yeah.
First day?
That's how I was able to come back. It's not that I got kicked out, but it's just like internship was over, so you know. But the first time I came at the studio, I brought somebody in.
Oh, wow.
So let me tell that story, because I still work with this person today, actually. So back in 2020, I'm graduating, but along the way, I'm also a video editor as well. And through the school I went to, William Peace University, that was one of the things I was known for, that and podcasting. But also during the way, you know, teachers that saw me and actually believed in me would recommend me and shout my name out to people and such. Wow. And it was a guy there that was a grade under me that was working on music. He's like, and he linked us up one day. And we chopped it up, exchanged information. We kept talking, and he was like, yo, I need a studio. I was like, yo, I know somewhere. And then from there, brought him in here, told him the rate, paid the rate, got it cracking, finished his first actual album here.
Wow.
And I produced almost the last 5 tracks. So, yeah. So I got my first production credit and my first full engineering, mixing, and mastering credit.
First day out of the internship.
Yeah, from working with that artist that first day.
Wow. Have you noticed that, like, a lot of that's a reoccurring theme in things that you do throughout life? Of every time something closes, you're just right after the next one? Because that was just a situation that, I don't know, something that just occurred to me. Is that something that you've felt that happened in other instances in life?
I actually kind of, yeah. I wouldn't say it's always as quick and fast, but I've thought about my life working in like 2 or maybe 3 year cycles sometimes. Like my first job I ever had, I had it for under a year. Then it got shut down because, you know, just couldn't keep up with the rent. First job, scooping ice cream, Baskin Robbins over in Cameron Village. Well, it used to be Cameron Village. Called something else now, but first job I ever had over there, boom. Then next, worked at the YMCA, AE Finley, over off of somewhere on like the side of Raleigh somewhere. And then for about almost 2 years, but then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So, but right after that, I'm here. So now,
how deep into COVID did you get in here? Like
the height.
Yeah.
Like when everything was shut down, getting credit. Literally right after I graduated, I was in here. Like I'm literally a couple weeks later. So I graduated in May, early May, and then about 2-3 weeks later, I was in here.
How did you like school?
I like college way more than I liked anything else because of the freedom. But I also grew as a person too. I actually had to kind of accept that just because of the cool stuff that I'm doing, I have to be the front. I have to put my voice out there. I have to be noticed. I can't be behind the scenes as much as I want to because of all the stuff I'm trying to do and accomplish. Example, I got my brand on my shirt here.
Yeah.
It's a company, Retro Soundwave Media. Like this happened. I made this happen in 2020 as well.
Wow.
So, you know, video production, video editing, graphic design, music production, audio engineering, podcast, host, creator. Like I've done all of that. As much as I want to be behind the scenes or behind the camera, I can't do it. I do too much.
Yeah.
But when I was in college, I was kind of not like forced to be the front of these things, but I was a trailblazer. Like I helped build up the newspaper podcast at the school I was at.
Oh, wow.
They already had it established, but I had the knowledge and knowing and learn how to podcast. So I was bringing what I had to them that helped them out and took that podcast to another level because they were just kind of doing literally just 8-minute news reports when they first started. But I came in saying, hey, we should try to have a conversational tone to it. Because that's how I was podcasting at first. Because before I even started podcasting in 2018, I was listening in 2015.
What were you listening to? What type of podcast you?
So the first one I remember listening to was called The Brilliant Idiots.
Yep.
That was that was the first one I ever started listening to.
They're great.
And from there, then tax season after that, then literally going almost over the whole Loudspeakers network there. And then Joe Budden podcast, and then just listening to experience other podcasts after that. But I'm listening for 3 years. So I didn't know I was building up and gaining knowledge for the fact of, hey, this is going to be my future. Never knowing this, mind you. I'm just walking up the street dribbling basketball or getting in the car listening to podcasts because it was just something I was interested in.
Yeah.
Unknowingly, by the way. But then it got to 2018, started becoming a rapper. But I was like, hey, we having cool conversations off just in general around the friend group. Let's put it on the platform. They was like, yo, what's a podcast? I said, we talk on microphones and we put out to the world.
Why not?
And then got it cracking. DZN Podcast happened.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first official podcast we did. And just from my idea, we got that cracking 70 episodes in for about 2 years.
Wow.
But during that journey was figuring out, all right, consistency, what to talk about, how to do this podcasting. Because we're new.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what we were doing. We were just talking.
Mm-hmm.
But we was talking about what we wanted to talk about, and we were having conversations in our own right. But I'm also learning how to cut up clips.
Yeah.
Do promo stuff. Edit video. Edit audio, of course. People tell me, hey, man, yo, it sounds good, but I can't hear the episode. I'm like, audio too long. I'm like, what? Then you got to figure out what mastering is.
Yeah.
You got to figure out mixing now. It's like, damn. So, and then learn how to actually record and edit the video and sync up audio for podcasts. Because when we did video, I literally used to hold a camera in my hand while I was talking on the mic. And while the show was going on, and whoever's talking, I'm turning the camera like this, that.
And it was to you just put in selfie mode?
Nah, I had actual camera.
Oh.
Like I had a Sony a6400, so I had it on a tripod, little tripod that I had, and I'm literally.
Oh, wow.
So most of the time on those episodes when we doing them in person on video, if I'm recording them, you're never gonna see me unless they actually take the camera from me and point.
Well, you would be
towards
talking,
me.
though, of course.
Yeah.
Within it. Oh.
But I'm filming.
Yeah.
Because nobody else knows how to film, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it because I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, people's bought me my first camera, so, and I also want to learn how to get better doing videos, so I was like, all right, why not?
Did you feel that most of that was out of the necessity of getting better, or you've always liked to be in control of all the aspects of the things you're involved in?
I'll say mainly want to get better, but I'm not going to act like I don't like having control, but at the same time, I know at some point I'm going to need help.
Yeah.
I was never shying away from that.
Mm-hmm.
But until then, let's just do what we can ourselves until that point happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, control for me is something that I hate the potential of a product or a thing or a service that I give come out bad, not because of me.
I hear that.
You know what I mean? That messes with me. That's why, like, if I work with people or if let me phrase it, if I have people within my project, if anything that I'm doing, it's live sound, studio work, making beats, cooking for an event, I don't know, planning an event, all of that. If I have people with me, like I always make a joke. It's like, yo, people hate working with me. Right? I'm like, not because I'm mean, it's because like I really expect them to do what I want. If I'm in control of the situation, you feel me? I have very like a OCD. Sometimes I want everything in its order and I want everything done well, and not because I want to be in control, but because I want it to be the best of what I can give.
I hear that.
You feel me? And a lot of times, if I'm allowing other people to do something and they're not giving it their best, it takes away from my best.
100%. Yeah.
So it's hard to find people with the same degree of motivation around you to join that, because that's the only way you get far.
That's what I learned throughout this whole journey, man. It's hard to find great people.
Mm-hmm.
And not even in a sense of like personality wise, but great people for what you want to get accomplished. Because also during the podcast journey, I learned that not everybody that was involved wanted to be around and do it long term. And that was something I had to just mess with. All right, do I want to cut this off or do I want to keep it going while still trying to rely on them wanting to show up and put in work?
Yeah.
So since we're all actually friends outside of podcast land, talk to each of them individuals like, hey, look, we gotta just end this here.
Was that an easy thing for you or a hard thing?
It had to be done, but it wasn't easy. Cause I thought about that I was thinking about that for like half a year. But I finally just said, you know what? Like, we're all growing, we're all expanding throughout our own lives. Let's just cut it here while everything's still good between all of us, so it don't get like a Joe Budden podcast thing where going live on the show say, "Hey, you're fired." Let's not do that. And the bread ain't came in yet for real, but the brand was starting to expand. So, like I say, we got merch now. We have the ability to actually drop ship stuff, and just wanted to cut everything off where more money comes in and has to be distributed and put out towards things.
After that, did you realize, was it harder the act of doing it or the waiting like half a year?
Just the constant of who's going to show up today? Do they want to be here today? How long is this going to go on? Am I able to rely on the people I'm working with?
Did that affect your guys' friendship? Do you consider?
In my opinion, no.
That's what's up.
So, like I said, 'cause everything's so good. It's just everybody has their own lives.
Yeah.
Like I said, and we cut it, I believe, we cut it early enough where it didn't affect anything.
That's good.
So,
yeah, because it's crazy how much you hear like bands. The majority of bands that come out, they never stick together. It's very few the ones that truly stay together. And sometimes it happens early enough where their friendships don't ruin it. But sadly, a lot of times money gets involved to any degree. Like, people get emotionally reactive when there's money around. And that's why I don't really like money when it comes to, like, I don't like working for money. I hate it. I like to get paid for what I do, but the money has, maybe when I first started working, I needed like enough money to like eat and get gas and pay my car note or whatever. Then I guess I was working for the money, but like even then I was like, no, I don't want to. If I'm doing this project and money's the motivator, it's probably not going to come out as good as I wanted to. Or if I'm doing that job and I'm not willing to stay an extra half an hour and not be expected to pay half an hour's worth of extra work, I don't think that's a good motivator for me personally to be there. Because money's always going to grow and money's always going to dip. And if my attitude or emotion towards things is dependent on that growth and dip of money that's out of my control, a lot of situations, I don't think I'll grow as good or be as effective to the people around me. So a lot of times now I'm like, if I do a project, like, yes, this is what I want to be paid. This is the history of my payment. But I like to get that over with, and in the hopes that there's like a mutual respect when it comes to that, and just put all my energy towards that. Like, I tell people I got to where I am today, which is not, I'm not huge. Like, I'm just appreciative that I got to where I wanted to be. But the reason I got so far is because I worked a lot for free. Interning, you're working for free in essence. When you make beats for people and they never pay you, you're working for free in essence. When you're a stagehand and working and helping people set up for a gig, you're working in free in essence. When you just waste all your energy towards something that's not gonna even help you grow, but that's your task because in the position you're in, that's working without getting paid. But all that work is helping you in the potential to get paid in the future. It's helping you in the potential to grow in whatever you want to do. So you have to work and not get paid to some extent to appreciate what you're doing. And for me, it's a real show of like, if you're really doing what you want to do because you love it, or just bread is a motivator. Because if bread is a motivator, there's so many other things you can do to make the same amount of bread. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people just try to do businesses and they're like, oh, this is a good business, it's going to make me some bread. And I have a lot of family members, they're in that same situation for years and years. They want to do something. They'll be like, oh, this would be dope. They're all like, I don't want to say they're all quick, rich schemes, but like a lot of them, they'll start something. But like if bread is always the motivator, there's a reason they haven't gotten too far. Because once they see something that can make more, why am I going to continue doing this? If that makes me more. And if they're suffering money-wise in other situations, their motivation in general is going to start dipping down. But if you love making beats, No matter how much they pay you, if you see somebody appreciate it, that's worth as much as a payment. You know what I mean? That beat is an investment towards you. Yes. Do you deserve to get paid 100%? Should you get paid 100%? But continuously doing it without expecting anything in return, at some point the needle's going to drop and you're going to get what you deserve. But if you just do it the whole time expecting something, I feel like that might work for some people, but that delays the majority of people to what they want to do. I mean, me, I don't expect anything from anybody at all in life, from people from work, family, friends, clients. I don't accept, not in a negative way, but like more in a like guarding my heart type of way. You feel me? Because yes, sometimes you do things for people and then you expect something in return, or like you at least expect respect because of what was done. But if that expectation leads to them doing the opposite of that and it ruins the relationship or messes with you and then just leads to like a snowball effect, because I realized that, I just stopped expecting anything from anybody. So if somebody does me dirty for some reason, if it wasn't like directed towards me or if it was just something superficial, I really don't think twice. Like I'm kind of a passive person. Like sometimes when I drive, I've had people road rage for me in my car. For real. Like I don't like, what is me getting angry at them, honking on the phone, flicking them off, gonna add to this situation of me, them almost hitting me because they were dumb. Yeah. But I've had people come at me right in the passenger seat and start grabbing my steering wheel and honking because they get road rage. I'm like, bruh, you see what your emotions, you could literally crashed our vehicle for something that had nothing to do with you, didn't affect you. They weren't even listening to you. That was for yourself. You're just getting angry for yourself.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk outside at that. I better grab my steering wheel and like, we not having that over here.
Like, you're sitting in the back from now on, bro. I was hot.
Like, it's insane. Just like, yo, I'm going to grab
hell no,
my steering wheel.
But I've noticed that a lot. I react very chill to situations that other people are reacting more extremely to. Like I'm just sadly or goodly, I guess, depending on what point of view you see it. For some reason, my reaction is always like to laugh at a negative situation. Like it's just but for me, I think it's a lot healthier to laugh at something than to like cry about something or get angry about something that was outside of your control. But I do notice that it really turns people off around me that don't know me.
Got you.
They're like, yo, why are you laughing at your coworker choking on a piece of chicken? I'm like, what do you mean? I was right here next to her. It was like 3 weeks into working and we had like a potluck with the coworkers or whatever. And my coworker, we were just talking, we're laughing. She's eating a piece of chicken. We're all eating chicken. And then one of those, I looked at her and she looked at me. And you know, some of you would be a homeboy, you just look at each other and just laugh out of nowhere. Kind of like, it's like when you smoke a lot, you're just there and you just having uncontrollable laughter. But this was just a natural high. You feel me? We were all eating food. And she was eating a piece of chicken in mid-chew. She just looked at me, I looked at her, and she just started to laugh, but she started to choke on her chicken. For some reason, I didn't like really react appropriately immediately. And I just started to laugh even harder because we were already laughing. So I was laughing before she choked. And then when she choked, it just went up. Oh, and I had everybody around me. I'm like, yo, guys, please go deal with this. And I walked away. I was like, yo, I'm sorry. And then I came back and then like they helped her and everything. I felt really bad. And then from there, like she couldn't for like a good month. Every time we just looked at each other, she just started choking like on what? Like out of nowhere. I don't know if she was traumatized or what. She just started laughing first. We started laughing and through that laugh and she just started choking. I was like, nah, bro. But I got super friendly with her. And then throughout like that, of course, I apologized. I mean, I'm sorry that I reacted that way. Like I went to help after that, but like that's just how I react. It's my reaction to being like nervous. So I mean, it's happened to me a lot. Like people just get turned down. Like, yo, why? Like, I think it's better than a lot of other alternatives. You feel me? It's better than having that lady just scream, you're choking on a piece of chicken. And then everybody gets scared.
Yeah, because when people like react so amp and so hysterical, it makes everybody else hysterical because there's no control.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the chaos. That's really how chaos really happens in
Yeah.
traumatic and bad situations because no one knows how to react, and it's that one person that's like, "Oh my gosh, help!" Like, calm down.
Yeah.
Call the people that's needed the help. And does anybody know how to do a Heimlich?
Mm-hmm.
Please help this woman. It's really that simple. And she might even start choking harder because everybody's out there acting hysterical. If you look, this is a business tip for everybody out there. If you know what you're doing, even if you don't sometimes, if you act calm and able to stall long enough until you figure it out, everything will be fine. Just be calm. When you're hysterical, that makes everybody else hysterical, nervous, people not want to call you back, people not want to work with you anymore. Be calm. It's really simple.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. Like, reacting really messes up a lot of things in life. I mean, most people don't just think like, okay, this is going on. Like, nobody really thinks, nobody's aware, not nobody, a lot of people are not aware when they're within that situation. Most people that scream at the top of their lungs when something happens are not aware that they're like screaming at the top of their lungs. I feel like if they're truly aware, they're like, yo, what value is this adding to the situation? I mean, you screaming, I guess in some situations, if there's something crazy, by screaming, you're letting other people know. But like, if you're just here in a room and somebody's choking, and then your initial reaction is just to scream, who's gonna hear you? You're scaring the person that's choking, probably gonna make them choke more. Yeah, it's crazy, bro. I see a lot of that, but in general, I feel like just reacting to things and not, like you said, just chilling and thinking and processing everything. Like, that would lead to like less headaches throughout people's life, like a lot of time. It's like Florida. Well, you've always heard all the Florida crazy stories. Like, people would brake check you, then pull up next to you and just have a gun. Be like, yo, what you gonna do? Like, it's crazy. So many people in Florida, at least South Florida, they're strapped. Well, Florida in general, but all the time. A homeboy just go to his grandma's house, just take his piece up, put it on the table while he's eating some rice and beans. I'm like, dog. Just leave it in the whip at least. I'm like, for what? But yeah, bro, it's just people, they're reactive, bro. I feel like that doesn't get people too much. Sometimes it might get people far.
I'll say, though, you might have to do something because sometimes I'm bad at just not saying anything and finding solutions. But when you don't say anything, that's when people really get scared. When you just don't do it. When you just don't have any, like, reaction. And y'all know my face, so my face is, like, stoic most of the time. So when something messes up, I just look for a solution or I pause for a hot second just so I can think of, all right, how do I fix this? But say something at least or do something, because if you just don't say anything, that's going to really scare people. Like, even more than yelling, like just doing nothing and saying nothing, that's what scares even worse. So just do something and figure out something to do. So,
have you had a situation here at work that you had to like troubleshoot like last minute, or like it kind of freaked you out in the moment in a studio session?
Oh yeah, plenty of times, man. Because when you're first starting out, not knowing anything, you gotta learn how to fix stuff and not mess stuff up.
Yeah.
But it's learning, it's practice. So, for example, in here we have a Antaurus mic modeler machine in here that you can do auto-tune like through hardware. But there's a way where you can print it or not print it. It's not like the plugin where auto-tune's on the screen, but it's actual auto-tune built into the actual machine to anybody out there. But when I used to do it, when I first started, I didn't know how to unprint it. Because you can like put it on through the interface in here, how it's hooked up is kind of as a bypass. Like you can hear it and they can hear it, but it's not going to print from the auto-tune coming from the machine. So when I first was doing it, I printed it. Printed the audio of the auto-tune on the track. I think I had to redo it, but I had to call them like kind of in the middle of the session, like, hey, either I called in the middle or afterwards. I was like, how do I like not do what I did? And pretty much just say, hey, just literally just unmute that channel and just mute the first channel, and just that's how you just have everything good.
That easy. Yeah, a lot of times it's really easy stuff, bro. Sometimes things that you're just so worried about everything else that you don't notice.
But you so green that
Yeah.
you got, and you're learning on the fly. You intern, but at the same time you haven't had sitting in the main chair experience until you get sessions. So
Have you ever had one of those situations where it was like very clear and very obvious the problem, and you probably should have been aware, but just because of the situation, like that was the last thing you thought of?
actually, yeah. So pretty much also learning how to run the actual interface and how the buses and Pro Tools and other programs work, right? So here in the headphone bus on other templates. So you know how other people have other templates they work on from other studios. I don't remember if exactly I was in the situation or I was helping somebody else out because I was just sitting in one day. But I didn't know how to fix it either. I was fiddling around with it enough. I was like shit. I'm like, well, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So you know, afterwards, after everybody leave, I'm just on here clicking like, all right, how to work this. Just say if that doesn't work, just click the control room button, and they can hear everything now that you can hear. So they can hear everything out there. They can hear it in there. Just unmute the control room on their headphones set in the booth, and cool.
That fix it.
So that if you don't find a direct solution with the bus, you can just do that.
Yeah, I've had a few. Well, I've had people call me for like. I had once a homeboy that he was running the session and he was like going crazy because it was one of his first paid sessions. He's like, yo, Isaac, the session's not working. I can't get no audio. Everything's patched in right. At the hardware, it's the right hardware. Everything's in the correct sample rate, going crazy. I'm like, bro, just FaceTime me. He was at it for like a good 45 minutes with clients in the room before he called me.
Oh shit!
And he was tripping, super nervous. I'm like, bro, FaceTime me. Let me see what's going on. And he's FaceTiming me. I'm looking through the things. And I'm like, all right, start recording. He's like, yeah. And he's pressing like the space bar. He's like, yo, but it's not. I'm like, he's like, I'm recording, but nothing's happening. I'm like, bro, you're not recording. He's like, what you mean? You see that little red dot?
You gotta click it.
That's supposed to be on. That signifies that you're recording. For real? I'm like, dog. Oh shit. And I didn't want to like banter with him and make fun of him at the moment because he was already nervous enough with the clients and everything. But like he was a friend from school. He went to school for auto engineering with. And I was like, bro, we just did this. But then again, anxiety is like a real thing that really clogs up people, and some people are not meant to, or some people it's very hard to work under pressure. You know what I mean? There's some people, like for me personally, I feel like I thrive under pressure to the point where sometimes I put myself under pressure on purpose in situations that don't need to be pressured at all. But I do that because I'm going to learn something new or I'm going to grow from that situation. But some people, they need their time. They need relaxation to execute whatever they're going to do well. You feel me? How are you? Do you feel like you work under pressure, or you need more your time to think things through and then execute whatever you need to do?
I can do both, except when I'm under pressure, I just get hyper focused.
Yeah.
I get locked in. Either when I'm under pressure, I'm really trying to get this done in the time, because like about when 10 minutes and when sessions are about to be over, I call that, it's like shot clock time in my head. It's just like, all right, if they gotta do like some more takes to finish a track, or get these last few mixes in, that's like, all right, we gotta kick in the high gear. Let's go. I'm on it them last 10 minutes. Not saying I'm not on the whole session. It's just them last 10 minutes. Whatever needs to be done is gonna get done.
How was that in the beginning? Well, I guess you did bring your first clients. How were you when it came to maybe the first client that wasn't like a friend or somebody you already knew? How was it managing the time? Because like, for example, for me, when I first started, I was used to talking to people, but I've always had like a degree of embarrassment for asking people things that they should be aware about. So like I think it was after one of the studios I first started, another studio I interned at in Miami when I left here. I started running my own sessions, and Buddy came in a little late and started running over his session. And it was like I had told him like, "Yo, we're past," but he was still like pushing me a little bit, and I was way too like, I don't know. I guess it was embarrassed or like I was like, "Yo, how does this man?" Not, I just told him, but he wants to like keep on going. And for me, that was kind of a hard thing to like add. I guess for me that I don't know if it would be pressure, but like I don't know. Sometimes in that situation at the beginning, I was too nice about things. But it was just another 45 minutes. Like
Oh no.
I wasn't thinking about. I wasn't thinking about bread or things like that.
Oh no.
You were good with that?
I cut people off.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something I've had to learn from when I started.
I'll say like, if nobody's coming in, if they really need to finish something, if they're almost finished, I'll let it go for maybe another 10, 15 if needed, but that's it. If only that's only, and that's only if I work with these people for a while. That's only it. That's the only time I'll do something like that. If you're these like new people or hey, we haven't been working with long, like nah, we cutting that off at a time.
Yeah. Have you had people try to like be like, "Yo, but just 15 more minutes"?
I had a few, but I was like, no.
Yeah. That's good. That's something that took me a while, honestly. I don't know why. It's always been hard for me to ask for things like that. And it should be easy because it's your job place. It's your place of work. And it's not just respect to yourself, but respect to like the person that owns this place. You feel me?
But that's why I always try to make sure, especially now, man. Especially if they're like new people, I gotta make sure I get everything up front.
Yeah.
Because people will run off on you. They will try. Especially if they're like a walk-in or they haven't put a deposit in beforehand.
Do you have one of those stories?
Unfortunately, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Because, you know, something like in my gut said, yeah, you should probably not work with these people.
Yeah.
But you was like, this is kind of like my last time to like actually giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. Like, all right, like my quote unquote nice side came into play. I'm not a nice person. I'm a respectful person. I'm not a nice person. But I'm nice. I was like, all right, let's give these people a chance. But then they say, hey, I'm going out to smoke, and then they don't come back. It's like, and their session's over. It's like,
Oh, and they had their tracker ready too?
no, they ain't get the music. No.
Smart. I had it once. It was like a 4 or 5 hour session. And it was one of those sessions where throughout the session, people would be pulling out. Then at one point, I think he's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go out to get some food." And I was like, "Yeah, just remember this is your 5 hour session. You feel me? Like this is all. While you're gone, I'm mixing. You feel me? Like whatever we just recorded." Came back with a few more people throughout the session. You feel me? Had a book bag, flexing racks of bread, vibing. And then everybody starts to leave, and he gets to paying me. Right before it pays me, I didn't really think about it. Like I kind of trust people sometimes. Like I
do not.
I give people benefit of the doubt most of the time unless I have a gut feeling. And if I have a gut feeling, like I'm not that I'm disrespectful, but like I don't want to even be around you. You know what I mean? It's either I don't want to be around you at all, or like I'm gonna give most people the benefit of the doubt.
I'm officially there now. If my gut tells me like it did this last time, like you shouldn't do this, and I'm not gonna do it.
And for me, what sucked, it was somebody I had to work with a few times. I guess they just got too comfortable, and then they weren't super local. They're probably like an hour or so out. And then I sent him the track, but while I was sending him the track and I was bouncing it, I start asking about the bread, and he kept counting the money, and then he stops, but it wasn't the full amount. It took away an hour because he went to eat. I was like, "Yo, that wasn't the whole." He's like, "Yeah, bro, we're only here recording for 4 hours." I was like, "Yeah, but I was mixing for like that other hour. That's part of the work." And he was really deep with a lot of people. I was by himself. It wasn't worth me.
You just gotta take that little.
You know what I mean?
hear
But thank God I was hip enough to like cut the bounce early. So it cut off. It cut off like a quarter of his song. And before he dipped, he started hearing the song. He's like, yo, send me the song. And every song I sent, like he listened to it right before. But this one was towards the end. He was walking out and he'll listen to half the song and he dipped. And then he called me. I was like, yo, bro, I need the rest of the song. You need the rest of my money, bro. Thank God I was hip enough to do that, bro. But I was like, since then, I was like, yeah, bro, you got to be more aware of. Since that point, I got to a point where like I'm only I feel like I'm at the luxury because studio work isn't what I do for a living. Most of the time now I just work with people like I want to. Like I don't really grab too many sessions for work. You feel me? I'll just grab sessions because I have a client out here or I met somebody or someone's like, yo, pull up, let's cook up. I like those type of sessions when there's like 2 beat makers, 2, 3 musicians. Let's cook. You feel me? That's fun. But just to do a session for bread, there's like a lot of risk and like a headache that like sometimes I don't really want to take as much. Unless like most of the time when I'm in the studio now, I just want to be creative and do something for myself or the people around me.
I hear you on that.
Because since I did it for such a while, it kind of took away the joy of being in the studio. Because like, damn, bro, I have to be here 6 hours just looping this one while like this guy is freaking rapping that one bar like for 10 minutes just over and over until he gets it good. Nah, bro. Like it's not. It was fun in the beginning. And I guess out there in Florida, a lot of sessions, people smoke in the sessions. So I got really heavy into that. And I got to a point where like part of my job was like, I was rolling blunts for people. Like I was just running the session, bro. And at the same time, I was like smoking for free. So I was like, all right, cool. You all smoke me, I'll roll your blunts. It was like part of the gig. At that point, it was fun. You feel me? Like everything was new to me, so I didn't care. But like now, I kind of want to care if I'm in a session. I want to have a degree of like inspiration or pressure that's gonna lead to growth. Because you can be in pressure situations that just suck, and you don't want to be there because it's not beneficial. But being in a purposeful or in a pressure situation that might suck but leads to like growth, either for yourself or the person around you, like I think that's worth the stress. For me, so that's why I kind of haven't gotten into that as much as of lately. So a lot of people used to mix for and stuff, and now I'm just like executive producing people's works. People just send me work, music, cover art, and they're like, yo, what do you think? I mean, my role with a few people started off as just like a beat maker and then recording with people and producing their sound and creating their sound. And then it's evolved to, okay, cool. We're not in the same place anymore. A lot of the people I used to work with back in Florida, they're still doing music. I'm like, just because I left, don't stop. Right? Just because I was heavily involved before doesn't mean you should stop because I'm not there anymore. You feel me? You got to keep on going. But they've respected me enough. We've had mutual respect to the point where like they respect my opinion. So a lot of times I'll get music from people like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yo, Isaac, what do you think of this? I just wake up in the morning, listen to some song. Damn, and I'm comfortable enough and they're comfortable enough with me to be honest with the music. And like I really appreciate that role. You feel me? Like because I feel like, yes, it's their song and it's their music and their ideas, but there's still a degree of like control that I have that like my opinion is valuable enough to shape what you're doing. You know what I mean? That's why I love like sampling when it comes to making beats, because there's something that's existed. There's a piece of art that's dope. And being able to mess with that and create something else that I also consider dope from that one idea is pretty dope to me. You know what I mean? That's what I like doing in all these aspects. You feel me? Like it's fun. So I wish I could do it more. but I feel like the scene out here isn't popping like in Miami. How do you feel the scene is out here?
I've been around and I've been in the scene for a little bit. I can't say I've been in here long because I'd be lying, but I lived here my whole life. But what I will say from what I've seen, now that I'm involved in the music scene, is I think a lot of people are trying to do things, but it might not be catching or it's taking a while to catch. Or they're doing it, but they're not all the way taking it seriously. Or they may try to take it seriously, but it's not enough industry here for it to actually go anywhere here. Because I think people want to make this a music industry scene, but it's just not enough options of stuff to do. Not saying you can't, not saying you won't, not saying it will, but it doesn't seem like a music culture all the way here.
How's the community? Like, are people friendly with each other? Are you like, what are the degrees of separation out here?
Clicks.
Like, if you wanted to get to, I don't know, who's the most famous? J. Cole out of North Carolina. How many degrees of separation do you feel like you're away from J. Cole within the cliques in the community? Because, for example, the reason I say that, because in Miami, most people that are involved in the scene, which is really deep in Florida. Like I used to go to sessions where people would come up the stairs to go to this like nursing complex to go to my session. I would have neighboring studios try to take my clients. Be like, yo, $25 an hour. Try to take my sign. Like over there is like it's a lot. But I'm saying that to say that most people within the scene for real, everybody's like 2 people away from whoever you want in Miami. Like I've done random sessions and I've been in random like live events where like, bro, the people like I'm around or the people that I know that are tight to people that you want to know is crazy. Like in Miami, it's like it's very big and it's deep, but you're pretty close to anybody you want to get to. But out here, it doesn't seem too tight knit per se. Even though I've been here like 2-3 years, and before that I was here for like 6 months, and throughout that I've always kept my eye out here. But it hasn't seemed, there hasn't been that much of like a pop outside of like the Dreamville Fest. I've seen some of in the Carolina Fest. I'm with what's his face, Noah.
Yeah, I went to the one where all the women were performing at last time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
what'd you think?
It was cool.
Yeah, have you ever gone? You never been to any other
That
ones?
was the first one.
First one.
Yeah, I tried to go to some other ones, but that was the first one I actually went to.
That's the closest thing of like an underground type of like shows that are like coming up, trying to get bigger venues.
And they
things.
just started in 2020.
Yeah, they've been at it for a minute. They've had Wi-Fi's funeral. He's from South Florida. They've had quite a few people. I've been trying to get some artists on it. This hasn't been. Maybe I'm just not the best like social media communicator. Or
How was that like trying to get somebody on one of them shows?
I think there's like probably like 2 motivating factors, which is either like just like in Florida, you got to know somebody or like know them and be cool with them, or if you got bread, that's probably like an automatic get through. But I've had a few people that I think are dope. They're doing some things in South Florida, and I've tried to put them on. Got contact with Buddy, got his number, tried to link with him. But I don't know, nothing really came of it. You know what I mean? I'm not one, which is a good and bad thing. I'm not super persistent individual. So I'm not persistent in the way where I'm going to be knocking out one door for like a year. I'm persistent in the way that if this door doesn't open, I'm gone to the next. If that one doesn't open, I'm going to every door until one opens. But I'm not going to be stuck at a door like forever. So, and sometimes that's at my personal downfall because there is value being persistent at one door for a while. You know what I mean? There's a value of right here, them telling you, oh, come back tomorrow and you're back here in an hour. Like there's a value to that degree of persistence. But But for me, I'm like, yo, if I know I can get something similar or get another opportunity without just, I feel like to be that degree of persistent, you're kind of like humbling yourself to me. And because you're just there until hoping them to wait. And that shows a lot of goodness from you, but like sometimes it's not reciprocated. They really don't care.
Yeah,
That door's never going to open. So I feel like that's why I might not, because it's just like a degree of humbleness that's like hard for me to expect. Like I don't want me not reaching my goal be the reason because you didn't open your door.
Right.
You feel me? Like if you don't open your door, it's on me to look for other doors. You feel me? It goes back to, I don't like when things go bad for me because of something somebody else did.
Yeah.
Feel me? So I guess it's hard for me to release or be in control of that. Yeah, bro. So I've been trying to accept that more, be a little bit more persistent, just stay at something because I see the value in that. You feel me? But that's something I've seen people that like it's worked out tremendously. But for me, I'm just like, I guess I'm too impatient. You feel me? I'll just keep on going to something else. That's how I got here. Like before I went to AMI for a bit, I called like 2-3 other studios as well. I was like, I'm hitting up everybody.
Yeah, same here.
You feel me? And Mike was like, yeah, bro, we'll come through, we'll talk. Spoke with him, told him what I thought, this and that. And then I guess he appreciated it. And he's like, yeah, come through. Started coming through often and we're here. But I wasn't going to just depend on that one place I wanted to go to. And if that shut down, that was going to shut down my goal and my dream. Nah, bro. I can't rely on other people. Like I can't expect, like back to the beginning, I can't expect anything from anybody. You feel me? Because if I'm willing to, or I might naturally do the unexpected to somebody else, why wouldn't the other people do the same? And if by having an expectation and if they fail it, it starts to affect me negatively, like why am I going to have it in the first place? You feel me?
Yeah, that's one thing I know for a fact I probably might have slipped up on a little bit, was not as well focused as much on my own brand the right way anyway, as to just working here. Like building up both at the same time, instead of just focusing on, all right, I'm an engineer here. Not saying I shouldn't have done what I've done it for, because I got a lot better since then. So I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, I suffered a little bit in my own actual brand because I wasn't focusing on how to build that up properly. And then I get to a point where if I'm not moving, I'm not making anything, that's a problem. Now I got to figure that out. Now I got to go harder at, all right, I got to figure out how this branding and marketing thing really works so I can be a benefit for other people. I have to learn the business of these industries so I can have the information and wealth of knowledge for people that not even just that they want to pay me for that or helping them out with that, but just having it just so I know the business and that important aspect around because everybody needs it. With AI, without AI, everybody's going to need branding and marketing no matter what they do. So if I can help and I have the knowledge of the fields that I can use to help them out with that, that's going to bring me a whole lot more than just, all right, I sit here, click buttons all day only.
Yeah. Well, what is your goal? Do you have like a long-term goal, or are you just
100%.
doing things every day? Because, like, for example, I've always had like a goal for a while. And then once I reach the degree of the goals, I'm like, you know what? Like my main goal now is just to do the best at whatever I do. And then I feel like everything else will fall in its place. So like for me, it's kind of changed a bit. But I still have my dreams. You know what I mean? What about you?
I have a big picture goal that I may not say at this moment because I don't want the idea to go out in the world yet. But I have a big picture goal. Hint, just a big building.
Yeah.
That's all you get right now.
Hell yeah.
But as far as just short term, every day, just trying to get more knowledge and better. Just get better and learn. Literally, I want to learn more about what I do because I do a lot of things. Like I said, podcast, audio engineer, video, photography, graphic design, whatever. Just actually learning more about it and how it works. Because I can do a lot of things, but I don't know exactly how everything works, like piece by piece. I can just, oh, you got this problem? Boom, 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 boom. I'm not that with everything. I want to just try to like get better at just knowing how stuff works in each field. Since I'm here, all right, let me look behind the actual interface to see where the connectors are and see where everything is routed, so I can figure out and help out if I need to in another place, or here if needed one day with the wiring. Because I mean, I can use for the most part know a little bit about how this wire, but I don't know. There's so many wires and so much going on. I don't know everything that's going on. I don't know how stuff being connected. So literally the other day, I literally peeked behind there, and I just said, "Oh, this connected to boom. This connected to this cord. This cable to get this adapter, Cat 5, Cat 6. You know, just learning, just trying to figure out like how this really work, so I can learn how to do it myself, but also help other people out, and they can pay me.
Yeah.
But it's not the motivation to get paid. The motivation is to actually just learn. That's what the motivation is, learning, because knowledge is infutable. You will get paid off knowledge forever because everybody doesn't know everything. You may think that, but it's not the case. I was literally talking to an artist the other day that I work with, and he didn't know about Sound Exchange. And the only reason that came up is because he said he used United Masters to distribute his music. I said, I use DistroKid because I heard United Masters puts it on Sound Exchange and like their database or whatever under there. Like, so when I learned that, I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But apparently they don't do that anymore. But the fact is that me just saying that sparked a whole other conversation. Another conversation about, all right, these song trusts, you need to know what an MLC is, mechanical licensing collection and all that. So, you know, just to, and yeah, it's about, and we ended up talking about sync licensing a little bit. Like, yeah, you trying to do that? Samples are no, and you need to be kind of general with your lyrics.
Yeah.
So, but that came from like knowledge and doing research on stuff and listening to podcasts, reading up on books and all that. So,
a topic I like to always ponder on and hear people's opinion on is like knowledge versus understanding versus awareness. Because for me, those are like three different things. Because to understand things, you need the knowledge of things to understand. But I feel like to be aware of things is beyond, for example, like if I have the knowledge of, if I want to make a ham and cheese sandwich, and I have the knowledge that a ham and cheese sandwich consists of bread, ham, cheese, some type of lubricant like butter or mayo, or some people like mustard on their ham and cheese sandwich. I have that knowledge. I might not understand how to construct it or how to make it work best, but having that knowledge is a starting point for understanding. Once you understand, having all those ingredients, you can put those in the best order to make a sandwich taste good. And a lot of people are not aware that that's like a thing. Like a ham and cheese sandwich is a very simple thing to do. But if you put things, there's no wrong way to do it, but there is like the best way to do it. Let's say if I put all the condiments on the bread and I let it soak for a bit and I just leave the sandwich for a bit, it's going to get wet and soggy. It's a ham and cheese sandwich, but my lack of understanding of the orders kind of took away the execution of me fully enjoying a sandwich, because now it's just soggy, right? Because I didn't put it between the meats and not on the bread. And for me, that's understanding. But then awareness takes it to a point where, like, now that I know what a ham and cheese sandwich consists of, and I'm aware on what order they should be of, awareness is, okay, now you give me all these different ingredients, and I've never used them before. I've never tasted them before. But based off the knowledge and the understanding that I have on the basics of those things, I now have the awareness onto how to apply all those other things that I was previously not aware or knowledgeable of to make something quality out of it. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people, I say that to say that I feel like a lot of times people judge people on like knowledge and like smarts and degrees and their understanding of things. But I feel like I like to judge people more on awareness. Like, I'm not gonna take away somebody's opportunity to grow just because they don't know something, because they're aware of like what they want to do and why they want to do with it, compared to somebody that knows a lot of information, but their ego takes away from their awareness and value to the people around them. You know what I mean? So when people are like, "Oh, bro, this guy's super smart in this," he would be a valid model. Okay, let me see what is beyond that information, because Google has that information.
Yeah, but he's a pain in the ass. Yeah.
Exactly. You feel me? Like, at what point is that intelligence or that knowledge truly valuable if I believe true awareness is the value you give to people and the value people where you perceive you of? If you understand that balance well, like, I think it's easier to go through things in life because you're more aware of things. You're more prepared. You're more ready for what's to come. Yeah, but have you ever pondered on those differences?
Now that you say them overtly, kind of in a way,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like you said, you don't judge people off what they do or don't know, but if they're aware of what they're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of look at it as a fact of you can use your knowledge and understanding to gain awareness
For sure.
in what you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to do and accomplish for a specific task. But I also say, just because somebody doesn't have the knowledge and awareness is kind of, they don't know, so I can't blame them for not having that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't harp on, oh, these people are stupid. Nah, some of them just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They're not aware.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the knowledge and understanding because they're not aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not because they can't learn they're stupid. It's because they just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And until they know, if they want to know whatever, they're never going to learn.
How can you anticipate that? Because that's something that I thought of quite a bit. To when people that, how can I say? Some people have, like, as you said, they're unaware of things and their lack of knowledge leads them to be ignorant in certain things. But there's also people that, like, have tried their hardest to learn, but just they can't learn it.
It wasn't meant for them to do.
Mm-hmm.
I also accepted that just because somebody isn't aware doesn't mean some people just aren't meant to be aware.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were, but they weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Like with this artificial intelligence, a lot of people are scared. But if you're aware of what it's going to do, what it can help you with, or what it can end up being, not saying that that's what it's going to be, but the people that's going to be aware, they're going to have to jump, regardless. And the ones who are not, they're going to just fall in line to whatever's going to be the common ground that's next built off of whatever's happening next.
How do you feel about that AI now?
It's
to
gonna
the degree that it's at so far.
It's advancing really fast, for sure. I just gotta I bought Midjourney for a month and I generated my last cover art from Midjourney.
What?
Yeah, like the Christmas EP cover arts, except for the clean version, all those were from AI.
Oh wow.
That was from AI. I just did some extra edits on them, but that was an AI prompt I typed in.
That was dope.
Only thing about them, they're not the greatest at hands yet.
Yeah.
And sometimes the faces look really deformed.
Uh-huh.
Especially the ones in camera. The ones in camera are just freaking horrible when you try to do faces in camera. They look so deformed. It looks crazy. But they'll get the other exteriors right. But just when it comes to people's faces and hands, it just looks so deformed. But Midjourney is the best one at the image generation for sure. Yeah. And as far as video editing and the cloning with the AI, you can tell it's like a little behind, but it's like damn near on point.
How do you feel about the music aspect of AI with tracks coming out with people have never sang it before?
Well, I'll go to that point, but I've been using AI for music for the last 3 years.
Wow.
As far as, because I don't think people look at it as that, but it's kind of is that a little bit. So you ever heard of Scalar? So it's basically it's a program where you can generate chord progressions
Okay.
and keys. But they had different like modes you can put them in. Like you can do guitar, you can do piano, and then synths. You can do all that. But you can generate actual chord progressions, and you can have the timing and have them play certain rhythms when you just click a few buttons, and that's how I come up with certain tracks that I just don't feel like playing on.
Yeah.
Or I'm just literally on my laptop and I don't have my MIDI keyboard or keyboard near me. I just use Scalar to come up with chord progressions and patterns or what arpeggios or whatever I want to hear, and then I just pick sounds from there and just start arranging and just leveling from there. So I've been using AI music technically for a while. But as far as the vocal part, I mean, it's just, that's going to be the tricky part, because where's the licensing going to come in for the voices? Who's going to sign off, and how's that going to affect the whole industry as is this really them singing or not?
Because I've heard a lot, even like on Instagram, you hear promos like there's this exotic snack page that I follow. And their promo is like an AI voice of Joe Rogan promoting their snacks. And everybody sees and hears Joe Rogan and they're like, oh snap, that's Joe.
It's the cloning, yeah. It's
But
the cloning,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't think I'm anywhere near that anybody wants to use my voice for that, but I don't know how I would feel in that situation. Because that's potential taken away from you, I feel.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be some regulations coming soon or down the line that you're going to have to pay people for stuff like that. However, right now it's free reign, so
Yeah.
do what you can. Hey, content creators, that's what y'all want to do to make money off some stuff, some content. Hey, do it while you can. I'm not saying it's right, but I know how money is. I know how money works. So, like I said, do what you can. I'm not saying don't stop making bread because it's wrong or right. Ethical is whatever when money comes involved. So, have your fun.
Yeah, why not take advantage of it while it's a thing? You feel me?
Yeah, because it's not going to be this open forever.
Yeah.
They're going to, just like crypto, like they're going to crack down on it eventually. So I say learn how to use it, learn what it's about, learn how it works, because you're going to need to in the future, no matter what you do. And try to be early so you can make the most off of it.
What's something you wish you were early on that you feel
TikTok.
like you could have been? Yeah.
TikTok. I was just going over this literally earlier today. I was like, I knew I was going to miss the TikTok wave because I didn't know how to create content yet. And I wasn't as great as a musician as I am now, too, I'll be honest. So it's like I had to just learn more. Yeah. But yeah, TikTok, definitely. I wish I would have learned that early.
I wish I was hip to Twitter. Like when Twitter first came out, if I was just writing out my thoughts out loud, I think that would have been an interesting follow. But now it's just so saturated, bro, that like...
From an early Twitterer, I was on the funny side of Twitter, but I was, when you just talking shit to nobody, it don't always work how you think it's gonna work. Like I said, and you young, like it don't always work how you think it's gonna work when you just talking shit to nobody, just saying random shit because you a kid at this time. You just saying random shit in like 08, 09, like who are you talking to? Who cares? Get your little ass back in school, like who cares?
That's funny.
I was on Facebook early, not early like college kids when the college kids was on it early, but I was on there early too. So same shit. Like who cares?
Yeah.
It's like who gives a fuck?
If people take it deep, it's crazy how deep, how real life social media has gotten. Because I always enjoy when people say, "Yo, don't forget social media is fake." But like, there's been people just on live get shot because they found out where they were on live. It's crazy, bro.
Well, who were these people doing any activity to make them get shot on live?
100%. That is
That's what I'm
that is
saying.
that is 100% a factor. Like the situation they put themselves into to get even shot in the
They
first
shouldn't
place.
have been on live.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they shouldn't have been on live. and they shouldn't have been around people who would let them know the location of them being on live. Because as real as it is, it's not at the same time. Because I think when I even go over and hear people talking about the manosphere stuff online, it's like, it's there, it's a thing, but it's not as common as you think when you actually go outside and talk to people. Like the men and women gender wars and hate thing. You think it's real, but it's only real like that online. I'm not saying people don't think like that, because they do. But you also see the conversation start to come around in real life because of what's happening online. Because of the access that everyone has to anything in the world.
I feel like that's not. Maybe it had good intentions in the first place, but I don't think it's good to us to care so much about things that have nothing to do with us.
100%.
I don't think there's enough people and enough problems within our intimate circle, within our family circle, within the people we're around, for me to waste energy on something that has nothing to do with me. In my opinion, yes, there's things that matter. There are things that people feel passionate about, but I personally feel guilty to feel passionate about that if there's somebody that I know is going through a rough time and needs help. That for me is crazy.
Yeah, I hear you on that. But also, you have to create content as a content creator or artist. So you gotta do what you gotta do on the internet, man, just to generate and help build your brand and your fan base.
No, yeah, because it's used for bad things, but it's also used for so many great things.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So much of growth and support and reach, and like just like anything, you can't live without water. You can drown if you drink too much. You feel me? Like like everything has it's good and bad unless you use it for good or bad. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Because none of us are having a healthy uses of social media, because we all use it too much. That's just what it is. But it's like, what are you using it for?
Yeah.
Like, you using it to look at how fat her ass is, or you using to look at stocks and how you can do better in your taxes?
Yeah. Fat stacks or fat asses, you feel me?
Listen, it's nothing wrong for looking at both, but it's a time and a place for everything.
No, yeah, that's true, bro. Well, a lot of people I think they're not aware enough of how much the things they watch every day affect how they think.
That's why I don't listen to certain music. That's why I only play certain music one time, just to know about it, because obviously I work at a recording studio, so I have to. But certain songs, I'm only going to play that one time. Unless it accidentally gets on a playlist or like the search play or something like that. Other than that, one time, because I know how music works. I know the power of music and sound, and how that can program and how that can actually get in people's minds and make them think and act a certain way when set in certain frequencies and whatnot. So I try to be cautious of what I'm listening to and start to put more knowledge and information in what I'm listening to instead of destruction.
100%. I wasn't aware of how lyrics affected me subliminally until later on. Because for the longest, and still to this day, when I listen to music, I don't listen to lyrics in the most part. For me, a voice is another lead instrument. When I hear somebody rapping and their flow is just impeccable, that's just like a trumpet solo for the whole song. You feel me? I'm listening to the flow, to the dynamic, to the energy of that. But then after you listen to it for so long, you start listening and paying attention to the lyrics. And then there's songs that I've been bumping to for years. I just sat down and just listened to what they're saying. I'm like, bro, this is 100% against what I believe in. You feel me? But it's just those beats were slapping so hard, and that flow was just fitting so perfectly that, like, one of the lines that I had stuck in my head the most was one of the most, like, for me, like, blasphemous lines and lines that go against everything I believe in. But I was just I guess, blinded by the music in itself without realizing and being in denial to be like, oh yeah, those lyrics are not affecting me because I don't listen to them.
Subconscious, man. That's who and what's listening to them. Your subconscious mind. So if you think you're not, yes, you are. Everything you hear, see, read is being programmed in your brain.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be tucked away, but you'll never know. Sometimes it just pop back up. Like boom, remember this? Like yeah. Because literally, when people say, "Hey, that flashed before my eyes," it's literally everything in your life just coming back for that one last time, and then
that's true, bro.
So everything you see here, yeah, it's there. Even if you ain't wanting to be, it's there. So because of what you watch, what you see, what you listen to, all that, what you read.
Yeah, it makes me feel like my parents weren't that crazy for being like, yo, don't watch this as a kid or stay away from that.
Yeah, it would have traumatized you if you watched it too early. You're like, man, I don't watch it anyway. All right. 10 years later, man, I can't look at water the same anymore. That's all I do, get drowned and get choked at the same time. Like,
yeah, man, that's crazy. But at what degree do you think trauma's impactful? I think trauma's just as impactful as you let it be, because people react to trauma differently.
Yeah, but if it's early, they don't know how.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where you get the troubled child star sometimes. That
That's true. Yeah, because I know people that have been impacted by things early on in their childhood that they can't remember that situation exactly, but everything else that they've reacted to in life has been in consequence of that situation or as a reaction to that situation, even though they can't even tell you exactly what happened in that situation, which is crazy. The impact of that without having the full awareness of exactly what happened is wild.
Because it's, like I said, it's in your brain.
Yeah.
So they may not know it, but that's how some people can't be in relationships and feel or get close to anybody because they might have got touched at a younger age by a man or a woman or both. But that's why they can't be around anybody for a certain period of time alone, because they feel that something might happen to them. So, or they think all men are bad or all women are bad because they got their heart broke too early.
That makes a lot of sense. The way you react to things early on and the way things you don't even have the time to react to, it just leave an imprint.
Yeah.
Wild, bro.
Yeah.
But all we can do is hopefully grow from those things.
Oh, yeah.
Grow from those things that were out of our control and hopefully be aware of it and just like get better at it. You feel me? And not let those things affect you. Like I have some random irrational fears that I still don't know the exact root of it, but it's just so random and irrational that like sometimes I want to go expose myself to it, but like it's just, I don't know why. It's like that's why I feel like it's irrational. It's just I don't know. Like for the longest I've had a phobia for like some statues. Some life like statues that look real, but they're not of real things, freak me out for some reason since I was a kid. Like you ever been to a Chinese buffet and then on the side you'll see like a huge dragon statue or a huge dragon image and it looks like lifelike, but it's not. As a kid, or even now, I don't know why, that freaks me out.
So I assume you just hate museums then, huh?
No, I've been to museums. I've been to the North Carolina Museum, and that hasn't freaked me out. But like once you start seeing images of like deep sea water creatures or like fake things that people make real, like when people like draw like, okay, remember that book? I don't know if you remember that book in the Scholastic Book Fair. It had all those monsters.
I was not much of a reader as a youth.
Well, I didn't read either, but I used to go to Scholastic Book Fair to get like
I used to get posters.
Yeah.
I was a yeah. Let me get that LeBron poster over there. Let me get Steve Smith over there. Let me get Mike Vick in Atlanta. Yeah, let me get that.
I used to get all the cool pencils. So we had the bendy pencils and the smelly pencils, then the eraser pencil. They had a whole. I used to cop pencils, but within there was this book. They always used to freak me out. That had like all the monsters and like folklore and history, and it just vivid images of all those monsters. And as a kid, for some reason, like that really freaked me out. And then now, like that still freaks me out, bro. Like if I go, like I can't go to Vegas and go into like Caesar's Palace, and the roof looks like the sky, and then you just see a huge statue of like some freaking mermaids and some fish shooting water, and it's humongous. I don't know why, bro. I tense up. It's an irrational fear. Freaks me out.
That's great.
And there's something that probably happened as a kid to traumatize me to that, but I have not been able to pinpoint it at all. No idea what caused it. No idea where it comes from. But I avoid it at all times possible just because it's something out of my control. You know what I mean? It's weird. So I've been trying to figure that out. See where that came from. To hopefully overcome it, but it's weird.
Maybe like a bad movie you seen or something as a kid.
Man, I used to be scared of Chucky.
Oh.
And then my aunt gave me me and my cousin, this Bob the Builder doll that looked like Chucky. And it was like Chucky size. And like one day I got up in the middle of the night, ran downstairs, opened a cabinet, grabbed a steak knife, stabbed the doll in the chest, told my dad to throw it away. Scared the hell out of me, bro. And then I had a nightmare the next day, and it was so vivid. Like I could still remember it now. It was like evening. There was a sunset, and this was all my dream. I was just in the living room watching some TV, and my dad was washing his car with the garage open. And then the Chucky doll just jumps out of the garage. Out of the garbage can within the garage. My dad's outside washing the car with the garage door open. He just comes inside and tries to kill me. He's like, yo, why'd you try to stab me? Why'd you stab me and throw me away? And it's just such a vivid dream that stuck with me and I still remember it. Like, I remember the shade of the clouds and the colors and the type of car my dad was washing. I think he had like a RAV4 in those days. Like, bruh, that might be one of the sources to it. But it's super vivid.
Like definitely sounds like it.
Super, super vivid, bro.
Stabbing Bob the Builder in the chest is...
Bro, I swear it was Chucky. Then my cousin was scared of it too. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, I'm glad I wasn't the only one. I hated it, bro.
Wow. Damn.
I hated it.
Jeez,
yeah, man. Yo, bro, but I appreciate the invite, bro.
Oh, man, no problem, man. Yeah.
No, it was dope. I enjoy talking, enjoy learning things from people because I feel like it has mutual benefit. You feel me? Like I enjoy learning from others people's success and mistakes instead of like having to eat a little bit of shit myself. You feel me? So it's always cool to be with peers that are in the pursuit of growth. You feel me?
Yeah.
It was dope.
Yeah, because, like I said, not a lot of people do what we do, man. Mm-hmm. Especially around our age at this time, anyway. Yeah. So,
and a lot of people, and it's even less the amount of people that do this and take it seriously.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that I grew up around or grew up with that do this. Not everybody takes it seriously, bro. Like, and the only way to get far is like we said in the beginning, bro, waste that energy, bro. On this. Yeah. You gotta eat a little bit of shit to like enjoy your food later on.
Yeah, gotta take an L, man, to gain some L. So
yeah, bro.
Take a loss and learn a lesson. So
hell yeah, man.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, bro. Dope dog.
With that being said, I got a closing question I'd like to ask. What is your brand?
What is my brand?
Yes.
What do you mean by that? Like what?
Like, for example, if someone said, hey, I need your services, what is your response? And, What do
Need
you?
my services.
Yeah, like I have this amount of money I want to pay you for what you do. What do you do that could obtain something like that?
So for me, the few things that I take seriously in life, um,
Well, let me reframe the question a little bit. Like, what is your actual like brand? Like who are you? Pretty much, what do you like? You know how some people like, hey, this is their business,
Yeah.
or
okay.
what is your brand?
I think maybe I'm thinking a little too philosophical on this question of a brand, just because I've started a few, like, I guess, brands or business ideas that I've wanted to do. But is in essence, all of those brands and idea are, I'll say my brand is to like help the people around me execute whatever they want to do better. So if it's through music or through food, those are the two things that I really enjoy, and I'll say like I'm known for. Like there's a whole scene in South Florida where a lot of people just know me by Extra Wavy. My production names, things I beat battles I used to get into in Miami, studio sessions. And they just knew me as like just like, oh, Isaac, he doesn't cook up a lot. You feel me? He doesn't do a lot, but when he's just doing these sessions, doing these things, like he goes in like really, really hard, or he's not like doing it at all. And in everything I do my best to do my best in everything I do, but like add value to the people around me. So that's like the core of, I guess, if I had a physical brand idea, one is this restaurant, underground restaurant I'm trying to start, WHET. We here eat together. Just create an environment where we have people go, and the goal is to have their mind and their appetite stimulated by the food they're eating, the knowledge and understanding they're going to get from the food that they eat, and the communication, the conversations they have with people they don't know that are just there, united by that food. And then when it comes to my production and music wise, I believe that the people that work with me have faith in my opinion and have faith in, they trust my opinion. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I guess that encapsulates like my brand. You feel me? The people put trust in me because of how seriously I take things. You know what I mean? In anything that I do. You feel me? If you ask me like, yo, Isaac, I'm moving out of my crib. You think you can, we're going to start moving the truck like at 11 a.m. till we're done. Could you help out? If I got an hour for my lunch break and you ask me, I'm going to go out my way and help you within that my hour lunch break and then go back to work. You feel me? Because who am I to say no if I was able to do it? You feel me? So sometimes I take things a little bit too extreme when it comes to that. But if me being lazy is not enough an excuse for me to say no to something. You feel me? A lot of people, I'm not trying to do this because I just don't want to. That's not an excuse for me. I do a lot of things I don't want to do all the time, for work, for people around me, for family. But I'm aware that I can do it and it's going to add value to the people around me. So I guess in essence, that's what I guess is the motivating factor of my brand, or how people see me as just someone that does their best to add value to people around them in music and in food, and hopefully in anything else I'm involved in with them.
All right, word.
Yeah, man.
What's a word or a phrase that makes you great?
A word or phrase that makes me great. One of my favorite phrases is, nothing that I do is planned, but everything that I do is on purpose. It's one of the most fire quotes I heard a long time ago, and I've like lived by it. Like, to me, it means that like maybe certain things that come in are not pre-planned or I wasn't expecting it, but I don't regret anything I do, because everything I do, I'm doing it with a degree of awareness and purposefulness that at that moment I think is gonna help me grow. You feel me? So a lot of people are they regret something. I'm like, I can't say I regret it if in that moment I knew what I was doing. You feel me? So that's how I like to live my life. Like, yeah, maybe a lot of things I might do are not planned, but pretty sure that everything I do is on purpose. I'm giving it all I got. I'm purposefully trying to do good. I'll say that's like my favorite quote or phrase that describes me or that I hold close to.
All right. What's two and a half of your favorite experiences you've had, or least favorite, as an engineer?
2.5?
Yeah, like 2.5 of your least or
Okay.
greatest experiences you had as an engineer.
So, one of them is I was almost completely. Well, I completely lost a session because it was one of the first sessions I was running seriously, and I don't know what was happening. Pro Tools didn't have that auto save option. Something was going on, and I never clicked command save. And then towards the end of the session, thank God the guy that came in drank like fat ass bottle of like Jack, and by the end was just slurring everything. His session was in shambles. But I did something. I tried to put like auto tune and some other compressor on and overloaded the system, the CPU. It crashed. It came back up. Nothing was recorded. I was like, damn. I was like, let me record one more line. I recorded that line. I showed him. I'm like, bruh, this right here, I don't understand anything you're saying. Like, I don't think you understand anything you're saying either. I think you should come back tomorrow, clear-headed, and let's redo this entire session. And that saved my ass. So that was a really negative but memorable experience. And now my thumb and my middle finger never leave. Command save. That will always be there. Another great situation in a studio session or as an engineer. Well, back when I used to do beat battles in Miami, those were super fun. We'd just pull up to a studio, to a big studio, like say like at 8:00, and then you're like in the lobby with like 20 other producers. Then there's like a big live studio, probably like 10 people in there with some like big producers. And then the guy that runs it, and you're just there playing beats like tournament style all the way until you get to the end. I did like 4 or 5 of them. I got second place in like 3 of them, third place in the other 2. That was always fun. Just networking with people you meet later on, and just people you see. You're like, oh, dang, you still listen to that beat just because I had it in SoundCloud randomly after years. That was super dope. And then the half, I saw once there's a session we had, and I got there on time, and the session before me had another engineer, and their clients got there late. But he had to cut the session early because it was my turn. I had it booked. The clients were pissed. It was like 5 of them, 4 guys and a female. They're arguing or whatever, but he's like, yo, let's take this outside. You feel me? They're doing their session. It was just me and somebody else. And the studio monitor, the TV had like a camera to see like the lobby and everything. And yo, buddy got jumped.
Oh, shit.
Buddy got jumped, and everybody seam strapped. They didn't use their guns. I didn't get involved just because I'm like, I probably could have called 911 and stuff, but like it was an internal thing. It was just like in that situation, I didn't want. You never know what could happen with some of these situations, and maybe I could have helped. My client was like shitting bricks. He was just super anxious. But yeah, sometimes in those situations, like unless like I've already seen a gun pulled out or a knife or something, I probably would call the cops. Yeah, but those are just some of those things that just happen in that environment. You're like, damn, bro. It kind of is what it is. I sometimes I feel guilty, be like, yo, I could have helped. I did call the owner, and I was like, yo, your nephew, bro.
Oh, damn.
There's some shady people that he cut off their session pretty early. So, yeah, that wasn't cool. But I think he's fine.
Word. Advice to anybody that wants to do what you do. Like, most important, if you can think of that, or most notable.
For me personally, don't let money be a motivator to perfect your craft. If you perfect your craft, money will come and the opportunities will come. People will see you and people will recognize you. For me, that's something that I've held true in my life. And the majority of the opportunities I've gotten, it's a lot of things out of my control. You know what I mean? Glory to God for whatever opportunity I've had. But I don't look for a lot of my opportunities. I just focus on being the best at what I do, exposing my art or my craft to everybody around me. And if people value it, the clients will come. If people value it, the money will come. You feel me? That's what I believe. If you hone in your craft, you perfect your craft, the money and the opportunities will come. If you're doing your craft for the bread, you're never going to perfect your craft because you're just focused on getting the next check. There's a lot of people that get motivated by money and money helps and money is that motivator and they reach their goal. Dope. That's just something that for me, I've never been able to do. So yeah, I'll say that's a big advice that for me is very valuable. Do what you do what you love, do what you're good at to the best of your ability, and everything else will fall in its place.
Word.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you want to ask me?
Nah, bro. I guess I appreciate the invite. Whenever I saw you here for the first time, was it probably like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, when I first pulled up to a session. After like a long time of me not being here. Always liked your vibe, like the effort you put into everything. You feel me? That's really important. The biggest thing I tell people about studio work, outside of being a good engineer, is important. Being good at your job is important. But creating like a vibe and comfortableness with your clients is just as important. You could be a shitty engineer, but if they think you're dope, they'll come back because they feel bad, but you'll get better the next session. You know what I mean? And that is really, really, really important, bro. And I'm glad, like, you've stuck around here with Mike and y'all been doing your thing and growing, bro. And every step got to be a step ahead. You feel me? And that's what's up, man. I'm glad you're doing your thing, bro, and just growing. You feel me? Little by little, it's just, and you seem like you don't want to stop, which is the most important part. The biggest reason people can't follow through is because they stop. Biggest reason.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine how many times you might have wanted to stop at some point, but everybody wants to stop. But the ones that don't are the ones that just follow through and make it happen.
Because you never know what day is going to be your day.
100%.
As long as you prepare,
100%.
you'll be fine. You just got to stick with it.
That's what I say, bro. If you perfect your craft, if you do your best at what you love to do and what you're good at, everything else will fall in its place. It's not going to fall in its place tomorrow like you want it to, but it will fall in your place if you do what you're supposed to do. And I'm glad you're on that path, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah. I've had to just like, damn, like, I know it ain't tomorrow, but shit. For some days, I feel like tomorrow I need to come a little faster, but it's just part of the journey, man. It's just, I forget how early I've been in the game, even though I feel like I've been doing this for a long time, and I know I haven't for a fact. So it's just like, all right, just gotta put your head down and stick with it and just figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
With that being said, appreciate you all for popping up to the 2.5 LLCs podcast, where we learn about our guests and they learn about us. But most importantly, we learn about where our guests came from, whatever level they're at. Starting, established, expert, in the middle, whatever. But at any level, we all have a story about how we got to where we are. And that's what our platform is about. Learn about how each person we talk to got to where they are. Because that's where the lucrative life conversations come from. And with that being said, we appreciate you all in the morning, noon, and night, whenever you're listening and hearing this. If you want to follow our guests, tell them where they can follow you at.
At extra_wavy. On Instagram, that's the main platform that I use. But following, I'm about to be on tour for a month in South America, Chile and Argentina. So that should be fun. Yeah, man, just trying to grow. I appreciate you, dog, for real.
You should.